This video is going to show you how to access statistics in the Run matrix menu for the Casio CG50 calculator. Okay, so let's have a look. We need to put in some data before we can then access the mean and so on. So I'm going to use the statistics menu to do that because that's easiest. So I'm going into the stats menu. I've got a list here. All of my data is from corporate maths. I'm going to look at 5 house prices. Okay, so I'm going to put that into an empty list at the minute. So I've got 175,000 and then 184,000 and then 150,000 and 201,000 and finally 191,000. So I've just entered that into a list that was empty. If I then go to the Run Matrix menu, so menu, Run Matrix, and I press Options, you can see that there is List as one of the options. If I go List, and then I press F6, I can then see minimum, maximum, mean, and median. So if I want the mean price, I type mean, and then I have to tell it where the data is. And I say it is in List 1. So I had to keep pressing F6 until I could see list there. So there's my mean. So I'm going to jot that down. So that was 60. Okay. If I want the median, so I'm still in the list option. So I press F6 until I see median. And then I press F6 again until I see list. And it's still, it wasn't list 1, was it? It was list 3. So I got that wrong. I'll have to do it again. Okay, so the median is 184,000, which you can look at because it was only a list of 5. It would be easy to put them in ascending order. So we know that's right. So let's go and correct the mean. So I'll just go back up and then I go left to edit it, delete list 1, and I want list 3, please. Okay, so I have got not 60, but it was 180,200. That makes a lot more sense. 180,200 pounds. Okay. Right, now in the list menu, you can see it doesn't have the standard deviation or variance. Okay, so instead I press options and this time I press stat. And then if I want the standard deviation, I press dev. And then I choose Sigma for the OCR syllabus. For A level, uses the population standard deviation. So we only ever use the Sigma one. But then I need to get the list. So I go options, list, and then list 3. Okay, so the standard deviation was, let me see, £17,336.67. Okay, when we round it to 2 decimal places anyway. So if I want the variance, I've got 2 options. I can square my answer, okay, or you can see in options, stat, there's variance there. So we take the sigma squared option and then options list and list 3 again, and it should hopefully give me the same answer. That's it. So where are we? Oh my goodness, 300,560,000. Okay, right. If you have a table of data instead, so we've got numbers of pets and frequency, all we do is change the data in the stat menu. So we go menu, statistics menu, and I'm going to delete this lot. So let's press F6 till I see delete all. Yes, please. Delete all. Yes, please. Okay. So let me just enter the number of pets. Okay. And then in the next column, I'm going to enter the frequencies. Okay, and then I go back to the Run menu. There we go, menu 1. And I want the mean, the median, the standard deviation, and the variance. So for the mean, remember, it was in list menu. So options, list options. Options, then list. And I go F6 till I see mean. And then I do F6 till I can see list again. Now my number of pets was in list 1. and my frequencies were in list 2, so I just have to type both of those in with a comma in between. Okay, so the first list, list 1, is the number of pets, and then list 2 was the frequency. So it's always data then frequency. So that gives us 1.55, and that seems reasonable for the data. Okay, if I want to have the median instead, then I go F6 until I see median, and again F6 till I see list 1, comma, list 2. That's it. And so we get a median of 2. And then for the standard deviation, remember that was in options stat. And we want standard deviation is sigma. And again, we go options list 1, comma, list 2. Okay, and that gives us 0.829. So to get the variance, I could do exactly the same and choose the variance instead, or I can just square my answer. So 0.688 it would round to. Okay, now you might think, well, what is the point of doing that? Because you can do all of those calculations in the stat menu, just stay in the stat menu. Okay, but sometimes you need to calculate with your statistics, so it's easier if you're already in run menu. So this next one highlights that. So could the data have outliers? So we need to calculate some cutoff values for the outliers, and then we can see if the data contain that. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now notice this is group data this time. We can't enter groups of data, okay? So we have to just enter midpoints. And that means we can calculate the mean with our calculator, but we can't calculate the median or quartiles, because when we calculate the median and quartiles, we assume that all the data are evenly distributed within each group, and we have to interpolate, whereas your calculator just assumes that the midpoints, all the values are equal to the midpoints, and works out the median of the midpoints. So median and interquartile range is not appropriate for group data using your calculator, but mean and standard deviation is. Okay, so let's go statistics menu and let's enter the data. Now I've just got 4 rows of data again. I'm just going to type over the top and I'm going to put in the midpoints. So I've got 15, 45, 75 and 105 on my midpoints, and then my data, frequencies, I've got 8, and then 43, 25 and 4. Okay, so I've put my data into list 1, list 2 again. Let's go to the run menu, menu 1. Okay, for the OCR exam board, the specification tells us that we have to check if outliers lie 2 standard deviations above or below the mean. So the calculation we need for this is the mean plus or minus 2 times the standard deviation. Okay, so let us do that on the calculator. So first of all, we need the mean. So we do options, list, press F6, so the mean, and then we have to tell it where the data is. So F6 till we can see list 1, comma, list 2. Okay, so that's the mean. And let's do the takeaway one first. So minus, and then the standard deviation was in options stat. So standard deviation, sigma, and then we do options list to get list 1, comma, for the frequencies, list 2, end brackets. Okay, so this is the lower bound cutoff. So 32 point, that doesn't seem right. Oh, I only did 1 times the standard deviation. So we'll go and edit. So I went up, and now I'm going left till I get to just before the standard deviation. I want to do 2 times the standard deviation. That's better. So that's my lower cutoff for my outliers. So 11.3. Okay, and so to get the upper one, let's just edit again. So go up and then go along to the left until we can change the takeaway into a plus. So this is the upper cutoff for outliers. So 97.4. Okay, So then we look at our data and we can see that we could possibly have a value that is less than 11.3, and we could possibly have a value that is above 97.4. It depends what values are within each of those groups. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So it's all in the options.